All right, man. St. Johns County Beach House with ties to Martin Luther King will be removed and preserved.
Oh, cool.
David Mantott. Mm-hmm. We'll go with that.
Mantott.
And his wife, Patty Berry.
I
like that name for some reason. Patty Berry.
They're great people.
She's sweet.
Are the current owners of a historic house at Crescent Beach marked by a turbulent past linked to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The house bearing burn marks and bullet holes was targeted by segregationists back in 1964 who mistakenly believed that King was inside. We talked about this house before.
Yeah, they actually advertised in the paper that that's where he was going to be.
Oh,
the record put it in there that that's where he was.
The record has a real terrible history.
Yes. They're in 64. They definitely
We
did.
do not need to conjure the dead. We are okay.
They're going to get canceled for this.
They already are.
I didn't say it.
I did. That's fine.
It's been a 30-year process.
The record's...
They alienated all the... Okay, I'm done.
The record's very nice.
Yeah.
Do something local. Impress me. I'm sorry. I'm not impressed. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. David. Okay, quiet.
I know.
Yep, David and Patty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. David and Patty, David Mantout. And
you actually are pretty close to saying it right.
You want to help him? You're throwing him a bone.
Oh, you know it and you're not helping me out?
Yeah, the project manager on that.
Well, David's real mad at you right now for letting me butcher his damn name with no help.
You're actually hitting it pretty good. You're not. You're just
really?
Did you have to say it like that?
Right.
With the roller coaster of inflections I'm putting on that name?
Mantott. You got it.
I had to say.
And his wife, Patty Berry, are the current owners of the historic house at Crescent Beach. Let's see. 3 years ago, Mantott and Berry purchased this modest 900 square foot house on Atlantic View with the intention to preserve it. Their plan to add 2 more stories, however, was met with opposition from neighbors and county leaders. Why are we adding on to this thing? I don't know. David knows Troy, so
Yeah.
he's going to come after me.
They play bridge together.
I'll give you a little more detail on it.
Yeah, okay, great. They were advised to apply for demolition as their only option. Local history organizations, including the 40th Accord and the Martin Luther King Celebration Committee, represented by, Thomas Jackson, TJ.
Oh, TJ.
Now you
Intervened.
Now you see how I'm...
Now I see the connection.
Yeah.
Now I see the connection. Yep. Recognizing the historical significance of the house, these groups, along with the owners, approached legislators for assistance. The efforts were fruitful. They bore fruit. With the state legislature allocating $430,000 for relocating and preserving the building. It's now set to be moved to Windswept Acres Park this spring. Oh, okay. I thought it said it was already moved. Let's see. So that's cool. What's the whole picture, Troy?
All right. So when they bought the house, they wanted to preserve the house and then build a house that pretty much matches the rest of the neighborhood. It's on Atlantic View there. But the house currently sits in the setback. So they were required to have a variance. The variance would have been very close to the beach walkover. And that was part of the problem is it couldn't pass the sniff test on the variance. And that's why the county basically said, no, you can't do that because you would have been building the house even further into the variance. And that's what kicked it all out. And the neighbors wanted it to stay that height because the neighbors across the street can see over this house. It's a 1-story house, and everything else is 2 and 3 stories along that way. And that's what they wanted.
Okay.
But they really, truly gave the effort, and they've been working with the Park Foundation, and that's who brought me on board to kind of get through some of the stuff. And we're gonna move the house hopefully in February or March. The problem is the house is wider than the street, so we're going to have to take down some mailboxes, and we're going to have to work with some neighbors on that. Luckily, we're only moving it about maybe a quarter of a mile to Windswept Acres, so it's staying in the neighborhood. And the house got shot up from the beach side And that's actually considered the front of the house. And that's what you'll see when you go to Windswept Acres. We'll have an observation deck, and everybody will be able to see this part of history.
Right. It's going to turn into a little bit of a museum, right?
Yeah, it'll be
time capsule of history.
Yeah, it'll be. It won't be open daily right away, but it'll be open for like private tours and some of those things and special events. So
cool.
You said
awesome.
Thomas Jackson, so that's my very close friend.
Yeah.
Is the one who brought me on to be a part of the project.
How hard is it to move a house?
About the project. It's actually it's challenging, but it's not as hard as you think. It's basically you have to kind of put supports around the edges, and then you just lift it up, and then you set it where you want it to go, and then you build to the house. So the foundation gets built to the house while it's still up on its piling.
Okay.
And then at that point, you set it down, and you come about maybe 1 inch, 2 inches away from the house, and then you lower the house onto the foundations. So you basically build to the house. It's going to sit on a trailer for a little bit as we're building that foundation up.
Okay.
So
There you go. All right. Very nice.
It's a cool
man.
project, and it's part of that money that came from Renner and Travis Hudson and Stevenson when we were bragging about all the different funds that came in for home
St. John's
again,
okay.
and the sheriff's PAL, and all of that was in that same. And the governor signed off on that money, and that's how this is happening. And we were able to save the house. So.
That's huge, man. That's really, really awesome. Something that ties right in with that is the new Florida Museum of Black History Task Force that's just been assembled. I'm down here on their website, the government side of their website here, which is too long to read out to you right now. They're telling us input is essential in helping the Florida Museum of Black History Task Force and the Department of State develop recommendations to submit to the Florida legislature. They want you to take a quick survey. Very easy, quick survey on that. And let's see. The bill requires the task force to develop plans for location, design, and construction of the museum, recommendations for the operation and administration, how that will be handled day to day, a marketing plan, a transition plan for the museum to be financially self-sufficient. Recommendations for archival and artifact acquisition, a lot of A's there, preservation and research exhibits, and educational materials. Let's see, there's a lot more that goes into this, but really, this could end up here, right, Troy?
It could end up here, and there's a really strong push from the county that really is trying to go after this, and it would be I think our biggest competition it's between St. Augustine and Eatonville, which is just north of Orlando.
Who cares about Eatonville?
Well, the state's still Eatonville was one of the first black government. Independent black government cities.
Oh, wow.
So it has some unique ties, but we have Florida Memorial College on West King Street out there that still owns some property. Working with them, actually, they own the property that Collier Blocker Park is on. That park right there on the corner.
Right, yep.
They still own that property. The county leases that from Florida Memorial, and that's where you see those archways. But it'll be in that area, probably opposite of that intersection is where we're talking about possibly this being the location.
What do you think our chances are on this?
I think our chances are very good. I think our chances are, I'm going to give us a 50-50.
When it's something like that, how do you plan for like sustainability and making sure the museum doesn't shut down one day?
Well, and that's where you have to have some sustainable support, and that's part of this. And I think that's where we have an advantage over some of the other cities because of a situation like this. We have a very, very healthy TDC. We have a very healthy county. And we have the historians that can create some of the stories. Like we have to create the stories. I mean, we've already talked about the Martin Luther King house getting shot up and some other things that are involved. We definitely have the history here that makes it the appropriate place to put this museum.
What does it do for like already established, like the Lincoln Museum and things like that? Is that like a complete?
It should boost it.
Boost it. Okay.
It should boost it because then you're going to have travelers that are coming here for Black history.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to do. Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of different points around, obviously, really the whole county.
Nice.
That would give us to be able to do that.
Well, and that's even been talked about as that possibly being one of the locations is Lincolnville.
Yeah.
As possibly, but right now it's kind of being targeted out at the Florida Memorial property.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that'd be great. A lot of people really want that to happen here, man. It would be a great spot.
Yeah,
It'd be a great spot.
In Florida Memorial, a lot of people don't realize we're here up until 1967. It was a college that was here, and then Flagler came in 68.
Oh.
So there's a rumor that Flagler College pushed out Florida. That's not the way it worked in any way, shape, or form. They had already purchased property in Miami. The move was already there, and then Flagler College, when the Ponce closed, Flagler College moved into that space.
Does it have to be one or the other, Eatonville versus us, or can it be both? Or
There is only going to be one.
It's only going to be one.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, they have a great story, just like we do. So,
Yeah, and there's going to be state funds behind it also,
Yeah.
and how those are utilized in matching funds. So.
All right, cool.